This episode is brought to you by Sign Dog Northwest, your source for custom signs, banners, boat names, fleet graphics, and more. Custom design services available. Also, this episode is brought to you by Merle Inc., the premier custom home builder in the Cle Elum area and a proud featured home builder in Suncadia Resort, and Tumble Creek. Their homes speak for themselves. Welcome back to the View from the Rock podcast. This is our sort of part 2 episode of our Thanksgiving extravaganza. In this episode, we're going to be going over the top albums ever for our musical genre. In addition, we are going to be going over our top 3 pies. And I suppose that might veer into the direction of just top 3 desserts. It's possible. In addition, we're going to also right now talk about what we have planned for Thanksgiving, this Thanksgiving weekend, how we celebrate Thanksgiving, and what we're thankful for. Swap, what do you got going on for Thanksgiving?
We're hosting. Going to cook a turkey tomorrow, just a traditional turkey. I've got the Flynn's coming over.
In the oven?
In the oven. Yep, in the oven. Flynn's coming over, my mom and stepdad coming over, and Kelsey's grandmother.
Shout out to Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah, great mom. You know, at some point here, probably around Mother's Day, we're going to do a Mother's Day episode.
Top 3 moms.
Top 3 moms.
It's a lot of pressure.
I know.
You guys have multiple... I mean, I think you guys all have maybe 4 moms you could choose from, so it's sort of like...
Yeah.
You're going to lose. Someone's going to be mad.
We're going to have to think that through quite a bit. What about you, Mr. Morgenthaler? What are you doing?
So we're heading over to my parents tomorrow. Kelly's working tonight. So she'll be sleeping tomorrow, and Rowan and I and Brennan are going to help out, and it's just the 6 of us.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Nice intimate gathering.
Lots of leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some people enjoy leftovers the most. That's their favorite part.
My favorite part.
In case you missed our top 3 Thanksgiving episodes or foods, you should just go back to that last episode.
I think that was the best number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
I never even thought of it. Never crossed my mind.
I almost want to go down a rabbit hole of psychology, but I will not. I'll save us. I'll just say that was the magnum opus of foods. That was the best way to go.
Wow.
For me, for Thanksgiving, it's almost always been at my parents' house. I can't remember that when it wasn't there.
Casa del Ruckdashel.
Yeah, and they are always in charge of making most of the food, other than the green bean casserole, of course, because I make that. There's been some times where we had other people join us, but this year, just the 3 of us. Brother's
Still in
still
Perth?
yeah, he's still in Australia. He'll be back home for good in December.
That was a mistake
I don't know what you're referring
by
to,
you
Jason.
not going there.
Yeah. Anyways, so it'll be a good time. Thanksgiving is all about being thankful. Do you guys have something you're thankful for at this time of the year? Maybe a few things.
You want me to go first?
You know, Jason,
I will go first.
Okay.
Why don't you go first?
Okay. I am super thankful for my family, our health, and just friends, like good friends. It's just that's what it's about.
It's kind of the triple threat right there. If you got those 3 going on in your life,
Yeah, everything's good.
Can't
I
lose.
mean, everything's gravy.
oh,
Ooh.
I see what you did there. That was
good.
outstanding. It was staggeringly good.
Yeah. So for me, similar. My family, a great family. I mean, not just the ones that live in my house, but extended family. You know, my parents, in-laws, extended family on both sides. Couldn't ask for anything more. And then great friends. And like we say here often on the podcast, we live in the greatest place on earth. And we got a great life for ourselves here, don't we?
Yeah, and I'm extremely excited and thankful for what's going to happen in the next 3 months for our kids with
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah, this is,
All of our kids.
yep.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys about friends, family, health. I would add in there, I don't have my own kids, so like I'm thankful for the classes, the students that I have. I have really great classes. Students are great, enjoyable to teach them, and then also like my athletes. Those are kind of extensions of my own children. So thankful for my spring and fall athletes that I coach.
I saw one of your athletes running today. I spent 4th, 5th, and 6th period outside with like 15 kids playing football, and I saw someone running.
Up at the track at the high school?
No, just running down the street, doing her thing.
Former high school athlete?
Former #1 ranked runner in the state.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I bet you were thankful to be outside on November 22nd.
It was great.
Yeah.
Kids loved it. Little football. You love a little turkey bowl.
Hey, and I'm thankful that the Huskies are going to kick the Cougars' ass on Saturday.
Oh,
Man.
You know what? And you know who else is going to get their ass kicked?
The Ducks by the Beavers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beavers, run the ball.
Don't even throw it. Don't
Hey,
put the ball in
Matt,
Ugalala's hand.
Matt, Colin, you guys can suck it.
Do you remember
I hate
last year?
Oregon.
Do you remember last year when the Ducks were ahead by like 23, and then Oregon State just ran the ball for a half and beat them?
100% remember.
It's going to happen again tomorrow.
I agree. At Otson.
I'm sorry, Friday.
Friday at like 5 o'clock?
We might have to get together for that.
Wow.
That sounds good.
Just a duck hate party.
Yes. Duck hate party.
If anybody has a turducken on the loose, just bring it over, and I'm going to just annihilate it while we watch the Beavers beat the Ducks.
And we might eat some duck pepperoni.
Oh, there you go. So if Oregon State wins, then Arizona has to win, and that means that it's in Arizona, and if UW beats the Cougars, Arizona UW Pac-12 championship, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what everyone is saying is the worst possible scenario is that happens,
For who?
and then Arizona wins, and then no Pac-12 team is in the Final Four.
I just feel like if it was any other conference with just the perception the nation has of the Pac-12, if it was any other conference and the Huskies ran the table, they'd be in. Pac-12 is the best conference in the country this year. Huskies are going to run the table. After
So
they
we're
beat
12 and we're going to be 12-0.
Yeah.
we are. We're not going to lose to Wazoo,
No, we're not, because we never do.
and they win 1 out of 10,
Correct.
and they've already won their one. Was that what 3 years ago?
I am a little worried about it, to be honest with you.
I mean,
No.
they had a good game last
I was
week.
more worried about
They
Oregon State.
spanked Colorado.
It's at Seattle. I'm not worried. I'm just worried that I'm going to have to owe Mark Jerkovich $50. So we were in Cle Elum last week, and he was fired up, and he's a big Coug. He's like, let's go, $50. Give me the points. So I have to give him 15.
What's the spread?
15.
Oh, that's bold.
Wow. Okay.
What's the weather supposed to be?
Pacific Northwest style.
I have
Which
no idea.
means a little windy, could be a little rainy.
Are you just making all of this up?
Yes.
Cool. All right. That's
Can we
helpful.
have someone fact check the weather
for
this weekend?
Saturday,
Saturday in
in
Seattle.
Seattle?
We have a special guest that we will not name.
That's true. I was kind of curious. It seems like only recently on Thanksgiving that football games have actually been kind of good. For the most part, because one of the main teams featured on Thanksgiving is the Lions, and they've been terrible forever.
But they're 8-2 now.
This is the first year?
I've never in my lifetime remember the Lions being good, even with Barry Sanders
I think it was in
and
the
Megatron.
50s. In the 50s.
I don't even know if they were good in the 50s.
And I feel like I'd always tune in on Thanksgiving to watch football and sort of be like, we'll see what happens.
They're
But
gonna
it's
win.
Not normally good football.
Dan
Yeah.
Campbell is awesome.
Yeah,
Dude,
I like Dan Campbell.
When he talks, I want to run through a wall.
Do we know who the Lions are playing on
Packers.
Thanksgiving? Packers.
And
So they should rock
Seahawks,
'em.
Niners.
Ooh.
and then
The last time that the Seahawks Niners played on Thanksgiving,
Oh, yeah.
we just
was it like 50 to 20.
We just killed them.
It was awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Sherman was eating a bird on their field.
Yes.
Kaepernick was quarterback.
I think,
Oh, that was
was that the year we won the Super Bowl?
I
Or the
want to
year
say it was the
after.
year after when we went to the Super Bowl.
When we should have won.
I don't want to talk about that.
I bet it's the year after because they wouldn't dare put us on Thanksgiving without us having won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then we have Cowboys, Redskins
Eh.
in between.
You mean the Washington Commanders?
No, they're not the Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But that's bold.
Yeah.
Hey, and the second episode, we're hoping that Anacortes is going to win this weekend against Enumclaw. And then we can have maybe one more episode where we talk about the state title game.
Yeah.
Where's the
And
state
maybe
title
I
game
can
at?
Husky
UW,
Stadium.
and we can maybe do a little research on each team, on the team that we're playing.
Little preview.
Yeah, and do like a 20-minute bio on Anacortes versus whoever.
It's going to be Tumwater.
Little scouting report.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Love to see some film. Wonder if we get that hooked up.
Oh, I
Little
think
scouting on our own.
I think our AD could do that for us.
I think you probably could.
I think you'd love to. Are we ready for the greatest music segment that we've ever done?
This is going to be a rabbit hole. They always are. We always, every week, we're trying to figure out what's our musical genre going to be this week. And then we come up with one. And then, like the last episode with the TV theme songs, it's just, we could probably do like a mini series.
It was a real humdinger.
The mailbag for this one.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you can find us where, Ruck?
The View from the Rock at gmail.com.
That's ROCK,
Yes. Not to be confused with the View from the Ruck.
which is going to be a new burner account, I think, for Mr. Ruckdashel.
Gosh. I don't want to have. I have like
You've
I have
said
like
it 3 times.
I know, but I have like 8 Gmail accounts I have to juggle. This is terrible.
I think this is going to be mind-blowing.
So what is our musical
Bewildering.
genre?
Our musical genre is greatest albums.
Albums.
So an album that you can listen to over time that just it gets better, or you just like, I can listen to this. If you had to choose one album, you could just listen to it.
And we talked about this earlier today, but people don't, when an album comes out now, people don't listen to albums like they used to. For those of us that are old enough, we had cassette tapes. So you'd be in a car or whatever, maybe jogging with your Walkman hitched to your britches.
Did you say britches?
I said britches.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a word you only use after you turn 50. But you would have to listen to the whole album. And now Spotify or YouTube or whatever, it's different.
And even for me, even though there are some albums I like to listen to all the way through, I have this weird feeling where I have a record player and I'll put a record on and a song will play or I'll get partway through it. And I have this sensation of like wanting to skip ahead to the next thing and it like won't let me, of course. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of good to get yourself in the mindset of listening to a whole album all the way through by investing in records and a record player. It really gets you to
Vinyl.
Yeah.
So we do have one, but what changed me was Bluetooth can go through. Thank you, Ruck. My record player now, the speakers. So I don't listen to the records anymore. I listen to the Bluetooth because I have more options.
It's true. I mean, I listen to that more often, streaming, things like that. But there's times where it's nice to just put a record on, turn the lights down in the house, just sit there, close your eyes and
My
become
youngest
one
son
with the
likes a
music.
good record now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he listens a little bit.
Did you
But
know that musical perception or perception of musical enjoyment is greater in a dark room or with your eyes closed? It's because you're focusing on it more. So, what I was just saying, give it a try. If you've never done
I
that before.
actually do close my eyes a lot
Yeah.
when I listen.
I'll be damned.
So
We need to get that on a shirt.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, that's a swapism.
It is. We need to maybe make, again, we need merch ideas. I think I forgot that on the last podcast. So for those of you, we are going to have merch coming up. So send us suggestions like trucker hats, coffee mugs, T-shirts,
Koozies. And
Beanies.
not only the medium, but also what you might want to see on that merch.
Yeah, like, do you just want swap space on it?
Probably.
Or would you like the new sticker?
The new sticker is pretty good. We
The
also
new
had
sticker is flabbergasting.
The sticker that was created by Sign Dog Northwest, that is a Kiss knockoff of our original one, is amazing.
It's, yeah, no,
yeah.
You know, we don't have to never say amazing. We can say it every now and then.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to
I love it. I love it for you.
establish.
Yep.
I think I've
Have you?
said, I think it's 20.
Are you making little tick marks next to
No,
them?
not yet. But I think between all of us,
Yeah.
It's big.
there's 20 different adjectives.
So,
today.
in this list of albums we have, what are some ones that really stood out to you? Either that you remembered, that you thought of, or that you found and were like, those albums are ones that you can just listen all the way through and you love them. What were some ones that stood out to you guys?
Well, I think one that was on several of our lists was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. That was probably the one, and we've argued about the year. I think it actually came out in 87, but I associate it with 88 more. That was probably the first album as I was a teenager where I listened to that thing over and over and over and know every lyric on every song.
Wow. What are some of the songs on that album?
Well, Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine.
Paradise City,
Yeah.
Mr. Brownstone.
Oh, Mr. Brownstone.
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
Brownstone.
I almost
Yes.
started like doing some sort of thing with my hands and like a sound in my mouth,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
You know what? I don't know if it's on this album, but I just listened to November Rain yesterday when I was at my house.
Yeah.
Cooking a little food. The solo towards the end of that is awesome. Oh
No,
my gosh.
yeah, and it's not Appetite for Destruction. That was on Use Your Illusion.
Illusion
But
1 or
okay.
2.
but it is that I think that one actually has that song was such a epic song that I think they actually had 2 guitar solos.
Oh really?
Yeah. And then another one for me is Zeppelin 4.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to look up.
We have music
I was
here on
trying
the
to look, I
podcast.
was trying to
YouTube might
look
shut
up
us
more
down.
songs on that album.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah. So Stairway to Heaven, but it also had Black Dog.
Is it Cashmere too?
Not on that album. Had Going to California,
The Battle of Evermore.
When the Levee Breaks. And that's another one.
So When
where-
the Levee Breaks is in my top 3 Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah.
And No Quarter. What
Yeah.
album was No Quarter on?
No Quarter was not on that album. It was on a later album. So they had obviously Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if I'm not mistaken, No Quarter was on a later album, and I can't remember which one. But No Quarter, we've talked about greatest bass lines, I think. And the bass in No Quarter is amazing.
Yep.
I should probably use a different word than that.
No. We're going to go back to it. So the
Yeah.
rest of the episode, that's all I'm going to say. So Big Chris, I'm rooting for you this weekend, but you can suck it.
So hey, No Quarter, Houses of the Holy.
Oh, yeah.
That's the like stair step.
Yes. That's a great album. That's
Great
on
album.
there.
They also have Dire Maker on there, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Over the Hills and Far Away.
And this is not Zeppelin 4. This is House of the Holy.
Correct. Yeah,
I also
it's another
have
great
Zeppelin
album.
2 on my
That's
list.
another one. What's that?
I also have Zeppelin 2 on my
Yes.
list of great albums. Ramble On, Heartbreaker, Live and Love and Made. Those 2 are always played together. The Lemon Song.
Whole Lot of Love.
Yeah.
What is and what should.
Oh, man. They were so good. And I just, I like all their stuff, but the first 4 albums are the best. Remember when the box set came out? We were like, it's probably 1990. and you know, it was almost everything they'd ever done.
I didn't listen to a lot of them in high school, but when I got to Pacific, my roommate Sean and Wendell had every single. He was all Zeppelin, so like listened to tons of Zeppelin, and then I got him on all the grunge, like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana,
Yeah.
Alice in Chains.
Isn't that kind of the great thing when you go to college? You have your own little echo chamber in your ecosystem from home, and you get combined with all these others. Experience Zeppelin when you're in college. You know, the great thing about listening to an album, I mean, Zeppelin is prolific. They have so many great songs, but if you just went to their greatest hits, you would miss out on a lot of good songs because they're towards the back half of albums. And so when you listen through a whole album like 4 or 2 or House of the Holy, you get to introduce songs that you hadn't heard before that might not have been on the radio or that might not be on their top greatest hits album. I love listening to an album straight through.
Well, I think like Zeppelin 4, The Battle of Evermore is a song I never would have listened to. And I remember I've talked about this before on podcasts, when I saw Heart as the Love Mongers do their acoustical stuff. They did The Battle of Evermore. And I just remember, you know, I knew that song and I thought, oh my God, this is great. It's very guitar heavy.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ann and Nancy Wilson are
Yeah.
so good. They're playing New Year's Eve, by the way. I couldn't get Mrs. Swap to bite on that, but
My wife as well.
yeah.
It might be. We'll have to do it a different time.
I
But
know.
they are on there.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so I was gonna like Heart's not on the list, but they're out. I mean, it's gonna be amazing to see how many people mailbag us on albums.
Oh, it's going to be a lot.
So I ranked them. My first 3 are right there, but Pearl Jam 10. When it came out, 91, it blew my mind. And when you start through all of it, not in this order, but there are literally 8 songs on there that I would listen to in my car.
So as someone who you introduced me kind of to Pearl Jam, not that I hadn't heard them before, but made me listen to them more. When I listen to all the songs I like from them, almost all of them are from 10.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. It's I mean, when you think about it, you have, I mean, my number 1 is Alive.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy, Black,
Oh, man.
Porch, Release, Oceans, Even Flow.
And you know, sorry to interrupt you, but that's an album, or that's a whole album. In my mind, that is a whole album.
When you have more than 4 songs that
Yeah.
you listen to on an album, I mean, that's 7 songs.
Yeah.
And
There were no misses.
that was their,
That was their debut album.
I know. And just seeing, it just still.
And the legend was, and you know, I don't know, I'm not a grunge historian or anything, but wasn't there a deal where they had these tracks and they kind of sent them to Eddie and he did the vocals over them?
Yep.
And that is pretty much what it became.
So he actually was friends with Jack Irons, who was the drummer originally with Red Hot Chili Peppers before Chad Smith.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, hey, you need to go up to Seattle and try out for this band.
Yeah.
And then they sent him tracks. So the one that's a bootleg, it's like a B-side, but Footsteps. I don't know if you know that one, Ruck. Footsteps.
I don't know if I do.
We're going to listen to it after the podcast right now. It's breathtaking in terms of just the song. And then Chris Cornell did that in Times of Trouble.
Uh-huh.
For with his side band.
Not Audio Slave.
No, so when we went to I'm drawing a blank.
On his sideband?
with
Temple of the Dog?
Yeah, Temple of the Dog. Times of Trouble has the same exact like bass and guitar
All the songs
with Times of Trouble and Footsteps.
and they all have there's a distinct sound to them.
Yeah. But before he even did that album 10, he did Temple of the Dog. He came up here and they're like, "Hey, we're going to do this and you're going to be in this field." Remember when they're in that field?
Yeah.
Like out right next to the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, and do Say Hello to Heaven. And
Oh, what was crazy about that is Cornell was a somebody then.
yeah,
He wasn't a superstar, but he was a somebody. Nobody knew who Eddie Vedder was.
no, and they loved. I mean, you read the biographies, everything. They loved each other. They would sleep in each other's little holes in the wall in Seattle, and then just play music. And so Pearl Jam 10, that's number one.
And then Nirvana Nevermind right about the same time.
Yeah,
And to be frank, I like Pearl Jam 10 more. But Nirvana Nevermind, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, that's one of the few times I can remember where anywhere I went for a certain period of time, you would just hear that music. If I was walking through the U District, I would hear Nirvana Nevermind.
Wow.
I feel bad that I didn't listen to them more. Like, my kids don't know Nirvana like they should. They know Pearl Jam, they know Soundgarden, they know Alice in Chains. It was one where I just focused on the others more, and I regret that. For Nirvana.
I wish I would have seen Nirvana.
Yeah. Rock?
It's from a previous genre. Wish we would have seen them. You know, you had a lot of great stuff in there by the time I got into our list that we were creating together. We have some obvious ones in there, I think, that I could probably mention. Almost any Beatles album, I feel like you could put in there. Like, the one that I feel like came up time and again when I was searching was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yeah.
The Michael Jackson Thriller album, another one that's like, it's just got hits throughout it. It's huge.
And I wasn't ever crazy about it.
No.
But like when you hear Cornell play Billie Jean,
Yeah.
and and it just breaks that song down in a way where it's like this is a damn good song.
Michael Jackson was amazing. He was amazing. Like
He
when
was.
we watched MTV, you remember that first day you watched Thriller, the video?
It was the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah. It was 23 minutes.
I miss videos.
And when you watch it, and then at the end when they dance,
I
mean,
videos.
it's the original Walking of the Dead.
Mm.
And when we watched, it was probably 85.
I think videos were the perfect art form, the coalescing of music, visuals,
So
and art.
we would sit after school, come home, get a snack, and watch MTV.
And we're better for it.
I mean, do you remember Springsteen?
Oh, do you remember I'm on Fire?
Oh,
The White Buffalo does a great cover of that. By the way.
really?
Yeah. The White Buffalo might do a better I'm on Fire than Springsteen. And that's hard to say.
Born down in a dead man's town.
Are there any White Buffalo albums that are in your top?
Year of the Dark Horse.
Okay.
Shadows, Grays, and Evil Ways.
Now, are those ones that you absolutely listen through all the way?
Yeah,
I'm not a White Buffalo listener, not because I don't like the sound. I just haven't taken the time to do that.
What is the vocabulary word for rhyming?
Rhyming?
Other than that, I'm sorry.
Tell us what you mean. What
No,
you're
what
looking
you
for.
just said, the White Buffalo. It's not right. Like, what was the last album you said? White Buffalo.
Shadows, Grays, and Evil Ways.
Shadows, Grays, and Evil Ways. That's not rhyming.
No.
I mean, it is. Grays and ways rhymes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rhyming.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good job. I wasn't sure if you're going for alliteration or
No,
what.
alliteration. No, I was thinking like one of those terms.
Some sort of figurative language term.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You know, one of his more recent albums came out during COVID was On the Widow's Walk.
Yeah.
And that was a good one. So his slow stuff I just really like because his voice is so rich that when he sings a slow and it's deep and just it's like the Brussels sprouts dish I like at Thanksgiving.
I was going to say it's similar to Lanigan's solo album kind of
Yes.
stuff. It's such a textured voice. It's so good.
If you don't know, you can watch him on YouTube.
He's amazing.
During COVID,
What's his
he said he put out 40
little short videos
in the garage.
Yeah, where it's kind of like what we do, to be honest with you, but it's on YouTube. He gets a beer, drinks it, talks about the beer, and then plays a song in front of his iPhone.
Yes.
And he is amazing. You know, you hear these artists they're great in a concert or in the studio, and he just sits there in his garage playing the guitar, and he kills it every time.
So my favorite White Buffalo song is it's the cover, Highwayman.
Oh.
Like, it just gets me every time.
And do you remember when we streamed the video during COVID?
Yeah.
And he did the chorus at the end again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I cried.
Yeah.
It was 11 in the morning on a Sunday during COVID. And Jason and I are sitting in my living room crying, wearing masks.
That's awesome.
Okay, you got one?
Yeah, well, I don't want to derail us, sorry. So some of the stuff I wrote down, I could have written some of the stuff you did. I definitely put a couple Metallica albums, Black, which isn't actually, it's not really the Black album. That's not the name of it. It's Metallica. And then it's just a black background, but everyone just calls it the Black album.
And was one on that album?
I believe so. So the songs on that one are The Unforgiven, Holier Than Thou, Don't Tread on Me, Nothing Else Matters, Of Wolf and Men, Through the Never, Enter Sandman, Wherever I May Roam.
Yeah, I think one was on And Justice for All.
Yeah, must be. Which would make sense. Based
But
upon
Enter
the name.
Sandman, have you ever seen Virginia Tech football?
Yes.
When they come out.
Isn't that amazing?
Electric.
Oh.
We're saying amazing too much. But it's the perfect word. I'm sorry, Mark.
Dude,
Chris.
it gives you the chills.
It's striking.
Thank you.
I mean, it's
It
one of
does.
those
It
things
gives you
where
the chills.
when people
Like,
say, "Oh my gosh, I could run through a wall for that person or for that thing," or if I heard like that's one of those things where you go, "I'm so amped up just seeing that happen from someone else." If I was in the tunnel, I know that today,
I'm gonna play
right now, I've got at least one good play in me. Today, right now, I could do it.
Oh, I can't even imagine what it's like for them to stand there in a tunnel and 90,000 people are jumping up and down and just going berserk.
Do you remember being done playing sports?
Yeah.
And we both played at small colleges. And just the void
Yeah.
that you had, there was just nothing to fill that void. What is that like for a major college football player who runs out of the tunnel to that and never has that again?
I don't know. I mean,
I think that's why all the mental health struggles that exist with college football players, and that's why when I was listening to a podcast the other day, they were talking about the need for mental health in psychologists as part of programs so they can not help them only deal with what they're currently facing as far as performance, but help them deal with life after sports. What do you do when you're done? Because everyone's going to be done at some point. You don't play forever.
And when you live for that rush,
Right.
You're never going to get that again. How do you get that? You're not going to get that, but how do you get whatever that is for you?
Do you think that coaching's even close to that?
no.
Do you even get any rush out of it?
Yeah, you do, but you don't get it like that.
That's for sure.
Pickleball.
Way to bring it back to earth.
Well, when we play hard.
Yeah. And we're all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
how it works.
have any of us broken rackets before? Or paddles?
Someone had a malfunctional paddle
Wow.
that had to be returned and got a full refund.
You did. Yeah.
Even though,
someone.
okay, it was me. The statute of limitations is over. I broke my paddle.
I broke my Pickle Pro.
I broke my paddle and got a refund.
Wow.
But it seems stupid to break a racket during pickleball, but it's there's that little part of you that still wants something to matter.
Big Chris and Colin and Marty Party, Matt, have broken so many ping pong paddles when we lived together. Like they would break them, literally just snap them and walk off. And then, okay, well, I'll just buy another one tomorrow.
And you know what? Here's what it is. Here's what it is. So I was watching the Seahawks Sunday. And at the end, and the Huskies have won, the Anacortes Seahawks have won. I'm having a great weekend of sports. Jason Myers misses that 55-yard field goal, and I am just pissed. And I'm sitting there with my wife and my oldest son. I said, you know what? The Huskies won. I've got a great family. But damn it, I wish he made that kick.
And he's been on fire. I was listening to the radio, and Steve Rabel, he's like, here we go. The kick is off. It's no good. He's been amazing the last 2 weeks.
But we're at a point in our lives where we can move on, kind of laugh about how much we care.
So I'm going to tell you right now, tomorrow, what time's our game? 5 o'clock? Seahawks, Niners?
No idea.
Yes.
I don't know.
5:20.
There's going to be a lot of baking going on at my parents' house. My mom gets super nervous.
Her face gets red, doesn't it?
Yes. So she's going to make some amazing cookies during the game because she can't watch.
I mean, sounds like a great outlet. Normally, when I get upset, like on Sunday, as soon as that kick missed, I just instantly change the channel. I don't need to hear anything else. I didn't watch football the rest of the day. I can't watch football. There's a possibility I might see a replay of it. I want nothing to do with football. I don't even think I watched football on Monday night. I just have to reset, and I'll wait till the next Seahawks game until I watch football.
Hey, what is the worst loss you can ever remember as a fan?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, brutal.
I have not recovered from that.
No.
I still have a group of friends that tell me I was with them, and they kicked it, or we threw the pick. I didn't wait for anything else. I just didn't say anything, and I walked out the door.
I had a glass just right next to Yellow Dog Studios. I broke it outside. My mom was not paying attention for 10 seconds and said, "What happened?" "We just lost." And she starts crying. My sons are young. They start crying because they see their grandma crying. And it was awful.
Terrible.
Why didn't they just give the god dang ball to Marshawn?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not, you know what? We overthink. We're coaches. We're all coaches. We think too much. Give the ball to your best player.
I think between the three of us, if we counted all the wins that we've ever achieved in coaching, it would be 1,000.
I think so too.
Probably. Yeah.
That's amazeballs.
Ugh. Anyways,
Rock hates
another
that word.
Yeah, another Metallica album is Master of Puppets.
Oh yeah,
It might be even better.
Love that album.
You've come into my room many
I
times,
know.
and I'm listening to
Yes,
it.
every
So
second
nothing,
period.
Nothing that gets you pumped up to start a day when you're about to teach kids like Master of Puppets.
Is Sanitarium on that album?
Here are no. So we've got Master of Puppets, Leper Messiah, The Thing That Should.
Thing that should not be.
Thank you. Disposable Heroes, Welcome Home. Oh, Sanitarium. There
Yeah,
you go.
Welcome Home, Sanitarium.
Battery, Orion, and Damage Inc.
What's
lovely.
amazing to me about Metallica is I listened to them when I was in middle school,
Yeah.
and I'm old.
No, you're not. You're spring chicken.
So, how about Alice in Chains' Dirt?
Tell me about it.
It's in my top 3.
What's on Alice in Chains Dirt?
I'm sorry. I'm processing that album. Like I listened to it a ton growing up, but now I'm back into it. It reveals what Lane Staley was going through.
Let's look at the names of the songs.
When you listen to the lyrics, Down in a Hole,
Sick Man,
Rain When I Die, like Sick Man and Rain When I Die right now are my 2 favorite Alice in Chains songs right now.
So what I love about that album is it's slow, and every note and every word is just drawn out, and you can just feel the emotion in every note and every word.
So Sick Man, when he goes, "What's my drug of choice?"
What have you got?
Yeah. I love when the dealer is high. Like he is going through his own
Hell.
Yeah. Dealing with his addiction. Because I never got to see them.
Yeah.
For that exact reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he canceled. It was Metallic, Alice in Chains. Like I could have saw him 3 times. I wanted to go. And Lane Staley couldn't do it. But like Rooster, Down in the Hole, Dirt, like now I listen to that album, I'm like, oh my God, it's so good.
And like I said, every note in that album is just drawn out. Every
and dark. I mean, Jerry Cantrell. I got to meet him and Duff one night.
Oh my God.
But yes, Alice in Chains Dirt. I got one more, and then I'll let you guys go a little. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with them at a young age. Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, all of them. Christine McVie, rest in peace.
Mick Fleetwood.
Yep. Dreams is in my top 5 songs of all time. Gold Dust Woman is actually a song about Stevie Nicks and her addiction. You Make Loving Fun. Just seeing the dynamic of the band where they dated.
Yeah.
One couple was married, and then the drummer was like the outcast. Like he wanted to be involved. It's pretty, like you can, there's a documentary that you can watch. It's pretty cool about that.
I'll have to check it out.
You know, the common theme through a lot of these is there's pain, and through pain comes art.
Absolutely. I know that like one of the albums I wrote down, I think probably reflects some pain, or at least just kind of like if you were thinking about narrative reading or writing, there's a setting that creates a mood that puts pressure and acts upon the character being the writer of these songs. So like Folklore, Taylor Swift, for me, like that's a pretty moody album that sort of kicked off that change in her tone from previous things like 1989 that's super upbeat and poppy. And then Folklore, just boom.
Any of our listeners that don't take her seriously as an artist,
check yourself.
I'm going to say right now, the other day when I went into the fitness room, and I have every single girl saying, Mr. Morgenthaler, can you play something else other than your normal grunge? Can you play a Taylor Swift song?
And so then every single kid.
I'll randomly play.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, there's 21 kids jumping around and singing.
Yeah.
Like every single person in the world. What the F happened? How is she that?
We have been in PE and had the entire class singing a Taylor Swift
90
song.
people, 90 kids. How is that possible? What happened?
It seems to have happened overnight. It's crazy.
Why? It's just it's crazy how it like they just it just
Like she's obviously been popular for a really long
I
time.
know, but how did it happen?
But it seems obviously with her most recent tour
Yeah.
to really
And then the movie.
have. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the movie.
Like
So for her, like the albums that really I can listen through all the way through, Folklore, Evermore, also Moody, but they're more of that folk kind of sound, and then Midnight's a little bit different. It's definitely dark, but is more kind of poppy.
I can name 4 songs, I think.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah, that's your favorite.
It is. Shake It Off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Shake It Off.
sing. The pigs were singing it.
Oh, now's the struggle.
Teardrops on my guitar.
No, I don't got any more. I there's a couple more that I know that I just if you told me right now, I'd be like, yeah, I forgot. So
Yeah.
what else we got?
And
What's
then
one more I could know? I
One
would know.
album, 1989.
No, 1989 has Shake It Off. It has Style.
How about Tim McGraw? She wrote a song called Tim McGraw. Remember that song?
Cruel Summer is
Cruel Summer.
yeah. And then
Love Story.
yeah.
I don't have a daughter.
I have a daughter.
Anti-Hero.
Nope.
That's on one of her newer ones.
So I haven't played in the fitness room in a long. I haven't been there a lot, but when I played it, and it was crazy.
Cardigan.
It just went nuts. The whole entire everyone's singing, and
They all know it.
They're working out harder, and it's like, oh my god.
But I'll tell you one of the coolest things in teaching PE is playing like a song I like playing Kiss, and a kid will come up to me and say, "Mr. Swap, you play Detroit Rock City."
Oh,
And
that would make me excited.
Yeah, no. I mean, when we play for our warm up songs, the go-to Inner Sandman. They run harder.
Yeah.
Thunderstruck.
Nice.
Yep. Crazy Train.
Yeah, like they just run faster.
Oh man, did we put
Oh,
some
no.
AC/DC albums on there? Did we?
We will,
Okay.
because you just said it.
Yeah. And then looking at my list, let's see. I wrote down a couple more that probably is not on your guys' list. The first one, I like some jazz or some blues. Miles Davis, kind of blue.
Okay.
Instrumental. It's really good moody music to listen to at home if you're reading, or if you go to a coffee shop. Like, I'm sure they play a lot of stuff in the background in coffee shop that's Miles Davis. He's legendary, obviously. And the other one, Kanye West, Graduation.
Oh
like-
my God.
I don't like him at all. Like, he's a terrible human being, but man, that album that he came out with when I was end of high school around that time, it's a huge album. One you can listen through all the way.
So I've got a couple that are a little bit probably off the beaten track. I'm a big Warren Zevon fan, and after he died, so he was the number one musical guest for Letterman.
Wow.
Really?
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
So Letterman loved Zevon, and then Zevon, there was a point where he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and knew he was going to die. He recorded an album knowing he was dying, which is powerful.
Yeah.
And Letterman had him on for the whole show.
Wow.
And one of the things he said as a guest was, Letterman said, "Is there anything, with your experience that, you can share, any wisdom that you have from this?" And he said, "Well, enjoy every sandwich."
That's awesome.
I might cry right now.
Enjoy every sandwich.
So after he died, they came out with an album called Enjoy Every Sandwich. And it was different artists singing Zevon songs. And
That's unbelievable.
like Springsteen does a Zevon song, Bob Dylan, Adam Sandler.
Wow.
And Don Henley.
And
It's-
now he's He's the Werewolves of London guy.
He is, and that's unfortunately that's what most people know him for. But
Yeah.
his stuff is so good.
Okay. You know, over this little break we have, I'm going to commit myself to listening to some other stuff by him because that shouldn't be the only thing I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, a couple more. There's so many that when I started going down this hole, it was like, oh my God. Like Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, Bob Marley,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, The Chronic, and then even 2001 when he redid it. Prince, Purple Rain.
Hey, so Sign Dog's Party when Nightwave played Purple Rain.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
Our beer of the week for this episode has Prince on the beer.
Whoa. That's big time.
What else you got, Morgenthaler?
Well, my computer just died.
Oh, perfect. Well, you know, the next one that I was going to say, I think maybe it was what you're going to say, and that is Black Sabbath Paranoid. Man. So I think that we were talking about something recently, and I said that Black Sabbath was something for me, maybe a band that I wish I would have seen. So Paranoid, the album, released in 1970.
1970?
That's what it says.
Ozzy's been around for 50 years.
How is he? We need to do a top 3 guys that should be dead.
Ozzy
that are.
Ozzy and Keith Richards would be 1 and 2.
So-
He's on the cover right now of Rolling Stone magazine, Keith Richards. And there were 80-year-olds today asking, how is he still alive? And he's holding a cigarette.
I don't know all the songs on it, but the ones that I do know are War Pigs, Iron Man, Paranoid. The rest of the songs are Hand of Doom, Electric Funeral, Planet Caravan, Rat Salad, Fairies Wear Boots. I
And
don't know.
Ozzy, you know, how many great singers have not been great singers? Ozzy is not Ozzy's not going to do anything a cappella,
No.
but Ozzy's Ozzy.
He's got power in his voice somehow.
Yeah, and War Pigs is great. So I have one, Blood on the Tracks, Bob Dylan. You know, I saw Dylan at the Orpheum in Vancouver. Drank Boilermakers and watched Bob Dylan.
Can you tell me again what's in a Boilermaker?
Well, it's a shot of whiskey and a beer.
Okay.
Yeah, but Blood on the Tracks. When I was in college, I took a wayward path to finding my major and ended up with an American Studies degree. And we had to do, like you do with your major, we had to do like a senior seminar, a senior project, and mine was writing a long paper about Blood on the Tracks. And I think it's his best album. Tangled Up in Blue, Simple Twist of Fate, Idiot Wind, Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts.
Oh, wow. See, you have to, you're either, Dylan is hard. You're either, like, it's Dylan or no Dylan. And I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, I like a little, but I'm not going to, I'm going to reroute that this weekend.
Try Blood on the Tracks.
He's got a different sound.
Because
Right?
we
Like
used to
you're talking
always
about
make fun of him. He's like, hey, hey,
Yeah,
But don't listen to
yeah.
listen to what he's saying.
Oh, I know. His lyric, I agree.
I got thinking about
Amazing lyricist.
I got thinking about this, 200 years ago, 150 years ago, people read poetry. Well, now music is poetry,
Yeah.
right? And he's
He's a poet.
yes.
Absolutely.
What about any Grateful Dead?
I got American Beauty on there. One of my favorite songs in the world is Ripple off of American Beauty.
So I didn't fall in love with him, but someone gave me some Dead in like 2000. And I was like, I like him. I've always heard the stories, but never, I know the ones. Is it Casey Jones?
Yeah.
And Touch of Grey.
Yep.
But now starting to listen a little bit. Terrapin Station is my number one.
You know, I think at worst, The Dead is great background music. If you're puttering around, doing whatever, they're great. It's just, they're toe tappers.
I mean, they're a jam band, right? So they're
Yeah.
just jamming.
But a song like Ripple, you got to listen to Ripple.
All right, I'll put it on my things to do this list this
So
weekend.
you got to listen to Warren Zevon. You got to listen to Ripple.
Hey, you need to listen to Terrapin Station.
Terrapin Station's good.
Also
It's
by the
like
Grateful Dead.
18 minutes.
Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it.
What else you got?
So, as far as AC/DC goes, like High Voltage, you're gonna recognize a lot of songs from this. It's a long way to the top.
If you want to rock and roll.
Yep. Live Wire, TNT, High Voltage, rock and roll singer. She's Got Balls.
So the boys loved that growing up. She's got balls.
Highway to Hell, also another good one. Touch Too Much, Highway to Hell, Walk All Over You, Beating Around the Bush, Night Prowler.
Night Prowler is amazing.
Let's see.
I agree. High Voltage.
If You Want Blood, you got
it.
I need to listen to some AC/DC again.
So-
I love them. Girls Got Rhythm, that's also on that one too.
So Swap, what about, I just got in the Kiss, recently this year because of you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I do not know any of the Kiss album names.
What about the one on the shirt I got you? Dynasty?
Yeah. Dynasty does it have Deuce and Strutter?
Oh, man. And here's the thing about Kiss is no one is pretending Kiss is the greatest form of musical art, but they are what they are, and they are unashamedly what they are. And they are the best at what they are as anyone has ever been at what they are.
They're a good time. That's what they are.
They're a party.
Yeah.
They're a walking, moving party.
Mr. Johnston, you should have come. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
All right, back to AC/DC. I'm going to misquote this and butcher this, but at one point they came out with an album, and some rock critics said, they have 10 songs in this album that sound exactly the same. And Angus Young said, "You're wrong. We have 11 songs that sound exactly the same."
Which one was that?
I can't remember.
I mean, if you think about Thunderstruck, when you play that song, everyone is happy. Like how do you not be happy? And like you're stomping on your feet. Thunder.
hey, if you take a PE class doing something while Thunderstruck is being played, and versus a PE class where nothing is being played, the Thunderstruck class is going to win.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time.
They run faster.
They do.
And they're like, yeah.
And if you said, "Hey, kid that doesn't do anything, I want you to run and touch the rim," they will jump higher when Thunderstruck is being played.
How about a little Rage?
Oh, the Battle for Los Angeles.
Wow.
Battle for Los
That almost
Angeles.
didn't get in there.
Yeah.
For those that aren't here, my computer died. So I'm going off of memory. So Rage Against the Machine. I have one that it just takes me back, and we're never going to hear it again because Lane Staley is dead, but Mad Season, that album is breathtaking.
River of Deceit.
Oh,
That's what's the first line in that? My pain is self-chosen.
yeah. My pain. Oh, I'm going to listen to it tonight.
Yes, you are.
I love it. The boys love it. Rowan loves it.
That's one of the things. COVID was awful, but one of the things I miss about COVID is there was nothing else to do but put on headphones and listen to music and call you guys and talk about whatever we found.
So I don't know what album it is, but In Excess has a good album. Is it Alive and Kick or something like that? Or
So it's his birthday today.
what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. How old would he be?
I think 68. You want to fact check that for me, Rock?
Michael
Hutchins.
I think the album is Kick.
Kick.
I am looking it up. Michael Hutchins? Is that who you said?
Yeah. I believe his birthday is today, and I think he was going to be 68 years old.
He's an Australian. Oh, is this that Australian band?
Yeah, they came up in the Australian episode.
Okay. So he was born in 60. So 63?
63.
Are we about ready to pull ourselves out of this rabbit hole? We have any albums we want to add before we move on to a little break before?
I'm going to add one more.
Okay.
And just, when I think about albums, just think about different stages of my life, and Gord's Gold, Gordon Lightfoot. That's one I can listen to over and over and it just takes me back.
Now, does that was your dad a Gordon fan?
He was a Gordon fan, yeah. Yeah, and that's one where Canadian Railroad Trilogy, Early Morning Rain. It's kind of a greatest hits album, but I listened to Gord's Gold over and over again.
That's someone that I never listened to growing up, but now because of you, I have.
Ruck.
I would throw one more in there from my childhood, and that is, I don't know if I can say it. Backstreet Boys, Millennium. Man, you could listen to that thing all the way through. Not that I do anymore.
Did we talk about songs that we love that we're afraid to say?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I have one of those on the Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way.
Yeah.
That's Millennium,
That's
right?
great, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even going to say anything.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with our beer of the week and our top 3 pies. This episode is brought to you by Sign Dog Northwest. They're your source for custom signs, banners, boat names, fleet graphics, and more. Custom design services available. We are also brought to you by Merle Inc., the premier custom home builder in the Cle Elum area and a proud featured home builder in Suncadia Resort in Tumble Creek. Their homes speak for themselves. Welcome back to the View from the Rock podcast. We run a little break there, and which, it's becoming sort of a custom for us. We forgot some things that during our music genre we feel we must address because you, our loyal listeners, will let us know otherwise. And we encourage you to let us know, even if we don't cover everything after this little correction. Remember, the email you can send us comments, suggestions, and corrections to is theviewfromtherock@gmail.com. Swap, what did we screw up this time?
Well, we forgot some, and I know we're going to get beat up, but Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill. Soundgarden, Bad Motor Finger. Maybe my favorite album.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
The list is long.
It's long.
It's long. I mean, we could go hours and hours with albums.
Yeah, it's tough, and that was like it always is. It's a rabbit hole that we knew going in what we were getting into, but we didn't know what we were getting into.
I know some, Tara and Tim are going to say Jimmy Buffett.
Do people listen to Jimmy Buffett?
I like some of his stuff.
Yes.
I just never listened to him.
Offspring, Smash.
The greatest selling album ever on an independent label.
What about some of the 70s stuff? Blue Oyster Cult.
Well,
Peter Frampton.
Frampton Live.
That's the most sold live album of all time.
Yeah.
Well, and we didn't even mention the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Beach
Boys.
Sounds.
Pet Sounds, yeah.
So I looked up today, Rolling Stone had top 500 albums.
Yeah.
And looking at that, the Fugees were there. Do you remember that?
No.
Well, I'm sure the Rolling Stones has an album
Rolling
too.
Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
we welcome all and any criticism and send it to the mailbag.
So our beer of the week is from the same brewery last episode, the Single Hill Brewing, brought to us by Merle Inc. And it is the Cold Throw West Coast IPA. Right? Isn't that what it is?
It is. We have two.
Oh,
we're
that's
doing
right.
a
We got
sampler.
two. We have two.
We're
That's
doing
what
a
I'm
little
told.
sampler.
Yeah.
So let's do. You want to do the what's the other one we got here?
So
Yes, the other one is the Artist West Coast Pilsner.
You want to try that one?
We're
first?
going to start with that one.
Okay. Describe that for us, Mr. Morgenthaler.
So it's very subversive,
Ooh,
modern, an instant classic.
I'll be damned. What's on the
And
can?
If you look at the cans are amazing. They're the 4-packs. You know how they have that now and not a 6-pack?
or a Tupac?
Yeah, okay. Prince.
Yeah. The Artist is what it says on it.
Yeah.
So I imagine that they're using these descriptors not only to try to describe how this beer tastes, but also to describe the artist Prince. That's why they say it's subversive, modern, and an instant classic.
Yeah. It does look like, how can they put that on their can?
Yeah, I mean, it's some
not,
artist.
is it kind?
Probably some artist drew it for him.
Yeah.
You know, my first thing I noticed, I always smell my beer, especially if I'm going to really be critical. It smells really hoppy.
And it's a Pilsner.
Which,
And we did a double episode today. I didn't do any Untapped research or
okay.
IBUs.
I'm going to try this.
So, Pilsners, I mean, like Coors Light, Coors, like those are all Pilsners. Man, this does not taste like a Coors or any of that kind of stuff. This
No.
is really freaking good. I
It
think.
is.
This is good.
It is.
This
You know
is
what?
good.
This would be an amazing beer at a wedding.
Yeah.
Remember how we did that one last year,
The
last
blonde.
week, the blonde?
Yeah.
This one's way better.
You know, it almost feels like they took the last beer we had that I said was really danky. They took it from 11 and they turned it down to about 2.
It's like that
It's so
last beer,
drinkable.
but there's like a hop that they didn't put in this.
But also the aftertaste is a little. You can feel it.
It's like the same taste. It's just not as intense.
Yeah.
Like I could drink a lot of these.
This
Yes.
is a good beer.
This
It
is
is.
really good.
This is a good beer.
So Merle is going to be bringing all of these over this weekend for a taste test.
Merle's coming this weekend, isn't he?
Merle's coming this weekend to watch his nephew Landon play in the state semifinals.
Nice.
I'll be damned. Merle is leaving the compound.
He is. He's leaving Cle Elum. He's coming here Friday. He's bringing all of you merch.
What?
So you're gonna get a sweatshirt, a Merle Inc. sweatshirt.
Is he bringing the whole family?
He is bringing the whole family.
I'll be damned.
Does he have big sizes?
He does. So
okay.
I
You don't need to say my size.
I requested extra big sizes,
Cool.
some beanies, you already have hats.
If you're not familiar with the crew here at the View from the Rock, there are not many adult mediums here.
No, not many child mediums either.
I'm actually wearing an extra large now.
Wow. I've been wondering if you've been slimming up. Looking real fit.
So
I'm wearing, believe it or not, a 3X right now on this sweatshirt. It's a sweatshirt. I don't wear a 3X, but I'm currently wearing a sweatshirt that is a 3X.
whose is that?
It's mine.
It's nice to have something though that's a little big and cozy, right?
It's cozy.
And I like the Merle Inc. sweatshirt. It's thick. Like
It says New Era on it. That's like a baseball hat brand normally.
It looks
It looks good.
It looks good.
So you will all get a sweatshirt, and you already have hats.
It's true. But beanies, you said?
Yes,
Love
a
me a
Merle
beanie.
Inc. beanie
I love a good beanie.
is it's high class.
And I'm due for a new haircut. And after
Yeah.
a new haircut, I need a beanie.
yes,
Yeah. Helps keep the head warm.
Yeah.
You know what? That West Coast Pilsner was really good.
That was a good
It
beer.
was good.
That was a
crazy
good
good.
beer.
Okay,
Hey, I am a big fan right now of what is this brewery?
Single Hill,
Single Hill.
and we're gonna be there the 28th of December.
And if anybody in the listening audience is out and about, 28th of December,
You need to come over to Yakima to the Sundome and watch Anacortes kick some ass.
that's right.
Can we say ass?
I think you did twice.
Okay.
Perfect.
Our next beer from Single Brewing, like I said earlier, is the Artist West Coast. No, that's the one we just did. Thank you. Cold Throw West Coast IPA. Man, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Cold Throw West Coast IPA.
Thank you.
So it doesn't look like an IPA.
It looks literally the same as the other one.
Yes. So it's a West Coast. So is it not going to be super hoppy?
It should be piney and resiny and hoppy.
Hey, I think
Okay.
we have a New England IPA coming.
I will love that if that happens.
Yeah.
Coach Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the title of this, there is an elk on the can, and on the bottom of the can, it says, brewed colder than your ex's heart.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I understand that one.
Do you?
Of course.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to try it.
Let's taste it.
That's good.
That's funny. It actually doesn't smell nearly as hoppy as the other one.
This is a beer that I could have 5 of. It's not super hoppy.
It's not, but you'll notice that it has more of that resiny bitterness.
That's a
It's
good beer.
good.
That's a good beer.
These feel
That's
so
a good
similar.
beer.
Yeah.
It's really like it feels. I'd love to see the list of ingredients for it. It feels like just a real slight tweak from the West Coast Pilsner.
I mean, I could have 2 or 3 of those and be fine and not feel full.
Those were two of the finest.
That was good.
That was super impressive.
Single
Those
Hill.
are
We're
really
gonna we're gonna shout them out on the socials.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell them when we go there
Yeah.
that we have a podcast and we tried out your beer and you're blowing up.
And just because we try something doesn't mean that we like it, right, Tara? Moving on, we're gonna go to.
No, I'm not moving on.
Oh,
Tara.
you want to say something
Yeah.
more? Oh,
We're gonna lead into this top 3, and Tara, you're gonna get a little shout out here soon.
well, so our topic here for our top 3 is top 3 pies, and this was brought to us by a listener, a loyal listener, maybe a top 3 listener. Hard to know.
Maybe our number one fan.
Definitely number 1 fan.
She's number 2.
Okay.
She's not number 1.
Up for debate. Gave us a list of top 3s to consider, and this was one of the ones that Tara Starkovich suggested. Top 3 pies. You might be surprised by that, though, if you know Tara, because she actually doesn't eat any pies.
And she doesn't like cheesecake.
So
So she gets a 0.
is cheesecake a pie?
So it's got the same sort of base to it.
It has a crust.
has a crust.
If it comes in a pie shape with a crust, is it a pie?
I mean, if you're thinking cake versus pie, they both have sort of a similar round shape. They both could be in some sort of a tin, but their crust, I think, is what defines them.
So does a pie need crust on top?
No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, pecan pie, there's no crust.
So you think about a pie that I'm used to. It has the outer edge crust, and then inside there's no crust on top for the pies that I enjoy.
You don't have none of the pies that you guys make have a crust on top?
Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was confused.
I know.
right.
I was thinking about the cheesecake.
Okay.
So
Fair.
is cheesecake a pie?
I say it is. What do you think?
So
Well-
if it's a pie,
That's going to
that's going to change
Yes.
my top 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then, how about this? How
It
about
is-
a
we're gonna
cheesecake
We're gonna make it a pie.
is a cheesecake, and a pie's a pie, and a cake is a cake.
But
Is
we're
that what
not
you
doing.
want it to be?
We're not doing top 3 cakes.
And we're not
because angel food would be number one for me.
what?
What about
Cake.
German chocolate?
Angel food cake has like nothing to it.
It's all about how my mom cooks. Sorry.
Bro,
That's just how it
it's
is.
an angel food cake.
Yeah. So it's my top. It's my
No,
top cake.
It's the stuff that you put on it. What do you put on an angel food cake?
Homemade frosting.
Okay. Anyways,
No, it what?
Strawberries?
You have no idea.
I would love to taste a different kind of
you
angel
have
food cake.
when you have a
I
piece
don't
of
doubt your
pie
family's
or
cooking.
cake from my mom.
I'm sure.
So it's based off my great grandma,
Okay.
and it's all about the Crisco.
Oh yeah.
It is.
Crisco.
Yes.
Lard in a can. So are we just sticking to pies? No cheesecake, no cake.
Cheesecake is in the pie realm for me,
So there's going
and
to
it
be
just
some in
moved
our
into
top
my
three.
number 3.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm caught off guard. I don't know
Well,
if I'll accurately
or not.
represent this.
Okay. Are we banning cheesecake?
I think you can put it in your personal one. It's fine.
Cheesecake is a separate.
So cheesecake
entity.
is out.
Yeah, cheesecake's out.
Okay. Fine.
Does that mess any of you guys up?
No, I'm good. I had a list with cheesecake and a list without because I
Oh.
didn't know where we were going to land
Okay.
on that.
If you want to throw any cheesecake mentions in there, you're welcome to.
Ghirardelli cheesecake.
I don't know
Yes.
if I've had their cheesecake.
You should.
It's yes,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
one.
All right. So I'll just get us started. Number 3 for me, I actually got a picture sent to me by my parents today because on their day off since they're retired, so every day is a day off, they were making an apple pie from scratch at home. I was very excited to see that. They don't normally make pies fresh at home. They normally just buy them. That was a treat. I love a good apple pie with ice cream on it. I know that some of these could be whipped cream, could be ice cream, but just a couple scoops of a nice vanilla ice cream on an apple pie, it's hard to say no to.
I'm going number 3, pecan pie.
So do you say pecan or pecan?
I say pecan sometimes and pecan sometimes.
And I've heard some people say pecan.
You guys are the language experts.
So,
I'm just wondering.
A pecan pie is very rich. Definitely need either some whipped cream or ice cream.
What do you prefer?
So when I was younger, ice cream, but as I have aged, I need a little bit less. So I prefer whipped cream.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay, what's your number 3?
So my number 3, you guys are going to roast me. It's Marionberry from my parents' garden.
Love it.
So Marionberries, like we get them every 2 years now. So we have probably 30 gallons of berries frozen right now.
So you get fruit annually and you just save them up for these, or it's biannual that they
So
fruit?
they biannual that they. So what happens is they
And-
take off the bush for the berries and then
Okay.
it regrows. But they have so many that they freeze them.
Okay.
So Marionberry pie. I'm a berry guy.
Yeah.
Berry pie guy.
No, a Marionberry pie is a very good pie.
And
When
the
I
thing
get
I
to
like
my-
about it is how tart it is, and so then you put ice cream with it,
Yeah.
and it's a real nice combo there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I use biannual correct there. I think that would mean twice a year.
So
Right.
every other year.
Yeah.
What is that? Is
I
that a
don't-
word for that?
I don't know. Listeners, let us know.
I think
Rock
that
at
is
gmail.com.
biannual because bicentennial is every 200 years. So I think biannual is every 2 years.
Okay.
But you could fact check me on
So
that.
we just went through Marionberries this year, and when we were at the cabin, our neighbors picked like 20 gallons of berries.
Oh,
So now we freeze them and then we make pies. So Marionberry is number 3 for me, and when I get to number 1, I will explain why all of these are my number or in my top 3.
And the
'Cause there
difference
is-
between them.
because there is a reason.
Okay.
So my number 2, before I get to it, I'll just say honorable mention. I'm thinking about all these pies as things that I actually eat at this time of the year, whereas there are different pies I'll have for Christmas. So like Christmas pie for me is more like a blackberry. That's what I prefer around Christmas time versus right now.
So why?
It's just because that's what I'm used to. Like there's
So
like sort of seasons for
culture,
pies.
custom.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'll add in right now. It's not a pie, but at this time of year, I always loved my grandma's pumpkin log. Have you ever had a pumpkin log?
I have never had a pumpkin log.
Do you know what that kind of would be?
Would it be cylinder shaped?
Yeah, so sort of like a Swiss roll.
So
Okay.
in France, they call this a bûche de Noël.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. So, it's basically
And
just
I would love to see you spell it.
I can spell it.
I know.
Yeah.
so the pumpkin log, if you've seen the Great British Bake Off, then they do an episode always
Is that on
has some
what channel?
Netflix. And so a pumpkin log would just be a spiced, gourd, sweet cake that's thin, and it has to be moist because then what you're going to do is cover it with a sweet cream cheese frosting, and then you're going to, with the paper, roll it up, but it's going to crack if it's too dry.
Yeah.
So anyways, that is like this time of the year, something I love.
Do you
but it's
like
not a
a
pie.
good log?
Well,
Like a sweet. I mean, I've never had one actually.
so the bûche de Noël is like Ruck described. It's a cake that is rolled with
Yeah.
a creamy filling within each roll. So then you can slice it longitudinally,
Yes,
and it's magic.
It is like my grandma Dorothy.
I would love a piece.
She would make many of them and deliver it to her friends.
During this time of year.
Yeah, between now and Christmas, she was cranking them out. My mom and I have made some since. So if we end up making one between now and then, I'll share.
I would love to try.
But you're right. It can't be too dry or it doesn't roll, and it can't be too moist or it sticks.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's tough. So I added that in because my number 2 is a pecan pie. So nothing new that we haven't heard already.
Pecan?
It's whatever. I change it up, make people feel comfortable.
Tomato,
if I was down
tomato?
the south, I'd probably say pecan. I prefer it with whipped cream as well. So
So is it the Cool Whip?
no,
Or
Cool Whip's
is
different.
it homemade whipped cream?
Homemade whipped cream
Yeah.
is what's the word for amazing?
It's a different level.
yeah, it is.
It's
Cool Whip is the easy way.
Like homemade whipped cream, I could almost bathe in.
Yeah.
so, but there's whipped cream in a can, and then there's Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're talking homemade.
Homemade whipped cream.
Which is one of the things that I normally am tasked with doing. The trick to making a solid whipped cream, like a really good whipped cream that you make yourself, powdered sugar.
Ooh.
That's how you.
I
gotta make it.
can't believe that you're in charge of that.
So the whipped cream will stay stable for a long time when you use that fine sort of powdered sugar rather than a granulated one. So you throw a little bit of vanilla in there. That's money. So pecan pie, my number 2.
My number 2 is peanut butter pie. I
So-
don't know how it's made. I think it's easy.
Half of my family is allergic to peanuts.
So you're not going to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get zeros.
So for many years, my daughter and my wife made for me peanut butter pie for my birthday.
That's
So-
awesome.
So what kind of a crust
Really?
does it have?
That's awesome.
Like, is it like a graham cracker crust or is it a chocolate crust?
Well, in honesty, they a lot of times use a store-bought pre-made
Yeah.
crust.
Because I've had both. So
Yeah.
have you had both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Do you prefer one?
I love a graham cracker crust.
Yes.
You know what? I would love to have a piece of that, actually.
Yeah,
I would. But I have to come over to your house.
you do.
Is
Because
there?
when I touch it, then I have to wash my hands 10 times before I come home.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Is there
Really?
whipped cream
Yep.
on top of that?
But why
Or
is it
some-
number 2?
Well, because there's one that's better.
You just said it was your favorite.
Well, it's my favorite.
Because your
Sentimental value?
Your daughter and your wife are making it.
Yes.
Fair.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jay, number 2.
Number 2 is the good old fashioned apple pie. And I'm going to say Gravenstein apples from my grandma's backyard.
Is it too early to talk about crust?
Nope.
Well, I was gonna.
No, I'm not going to. We're not going to talk about it till we get to number one.
So is this a lattice that you guys do for this, or do you not want to even talk about that? Like a lattice pie, Dutch
No,
apple?
it's not. It's not. It's a traditional.
Okay.
Traditional. It's not a lattice.
All right. Do you ice cream or whipped cream on that?
I'm a whipped cream guy.
For all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes I don't even do it because I'm so full.
Understandable.
I don't even like. It's
Like,
hard.
I might not have pie tomorrow.
It's hard.
It is.
I want to have so much pie.
It's like
It's so good.
it's like a
But I
pity.
can't. I have to
Yeah.
wait till like 7:30.
And maybe even breakfast.
Oh, breakfast pie.
Oh, that is the best pie.
I'm so excited.
Wow. I think we need to get to our break quickly and end this. My number one was already said. Peanut butter pie.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it before.
No,
this
no,
is the first
it's
time.
good.
Sorry, Rob.
No, you're good.
So this
so
is I've never heard of that pie ever until you guys
I
just
don't
said
even
it.
know how it happened, but my grandma somehow started to figure out that that's what I liked best and started making me peanut butter pie every year. And I don't think anyone disliked it, but I was the one that actually really liked it, and she would just make it for me and make sure that it was like, hey, here's your peanut butter pie.
yeah.
Love it.
So my number one is Dutch apple pie.
So the Dutch that's the
Like
crisscross applesauce.
it's the stuff on the top that's like all crumbly and cinnamony
Yeah.
and big bulbous Dutch apple pie
Yeah.
topping. And we were so in Chelan 2 weeks ago, we went to Blueberry Hills in Manson and got their Dutch apple pie.
And are they famous for that?
They are. And it's just amazing.
So if you can't picture it,
Is it very cinnamony?
Cinnamony. And then
I like a good cinnamon.
the top layer of stuff with, and I like whipped cream, but with ice cream
So this time it was ice cream.
because you have to.
Yeah. Because that's how they serve it.
That's how you have to do it.
so
And it's
if you were to
just-
look at it, it's like a berry or an apple crumble, essentially, but with a pie casing underneath
Yes.
it and around it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've really had. I've definitely seen the cheap ones from Safeway or places like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had a legit one.
So
like you're
my
describing.
mom sent me a text about 4 hours ago with a Dutch apple pie coming out of the oven.
Oh, she's ready for you.
She's bringing it over tomorrow.
Isn't it amazing that our moms, about 4 hours ago, both of them, one's making an apple pie for me, one's making a Dutch apple pie for you.
Yeah.
Moms are the best.
They're-
Can't wait for our top 3 moms episode.
Yeah. I know.
So I'm gonna spend like 30 seconds talking about the crust
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it.
after. So number one is a wild blackberry.
Oh,
It's not an anacortes blackberry on 17th Street where you just pick right here.
yeah.
Like you go up in the mountains.
So like the Himalayan,
Papa Mike, like Alger.
but they're like the long ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we
Smaller
used to
seeds?
grow up. We used to grow up going up blackberry picking.
Because blackberries, if you pick them on 17th, they're gritty.
Yeah, and they have to. I mean, they're the long. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Are the seeds smaller in those?
yes.
Okay,
And
that's a big deal.
And we would pick them, and then freeze, and then we'd have pies all year. So my uncle Mike and my mom would make blackberry pies for every occasion.
Oh.
And we actually would fight about it. My mom's crust is number one, hands down. Like it just that's what makes the pie. And it's not like it just it crumbles in your mouth like it's amazing.
You can just eat the crust.
Yes.
So crumbly over flaky or both?
It's both.
Okay.
but it's just my great grandma's recipe. So like seeing her roll out the dough.
Wood rolling pin.
Oh, yes. Lots of flour.
Throwing flour on there.
Oh, all the time. And then just having her like it's almost like like they're making a pizza
Yeah.
to make it come out where it doesn't break or crack on the bottom. And then puts all of it in and then on top and then she cuts it all off. And when I was growing up, I absolutely love dough.
Like raw dough?
Raw dough.
Wow.
So my dad and I would fight over it. So like when she makes a pie right now and I go up there and I see the pie, I'm like, where's the dough? She's like, I threw it away.
Oh.
And I go, So now she has it in a little bowl.
And that's
So
from
you
when
know the
trim
dough.
it?
Do you know the dough that you do is you put it in, and then have you ever done where you do that extra dough, and you do cinnamon and sugar, and you cook it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know
Yes.
exactly what you mean.
And then that is actually an appetizer for people,
A dessert appetizer.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's hands down the greatest. So that's yeah. And I will go to the grave for my mom with that pie.
That
I
sounds
agree.
amazing.
And I had one this summer.
Wild blackberry.
Yep.
That
So
sounds-
everyone gets that.
Well, I feel like I'm ready for a bunch of food tomorrow. Bunch of food that I'm going to say I'm going to have a little bit less than I normally do, and I probably won't.
So you're
And-
saying you're going to have less again,
Yeah.
but you're still going to be full for the pie.
Yeah, probably.
So what do you do after you eat?
I sit.
And just lay on a couch?
What else is there to do?
Well, I'm just saying. There's a
sometimes-
lot of people, like sometimes it's hard to just lay on a couch.
I sometimes go for a walk
Okay.
to try to
Yeah. With
metabolize.
Buddy?
Yeah.
I think that's a good call. I probably won't go for a walk.
I
but,
probably won't either.
I mean, it's a nice idea. What do you do?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to eat and just watch TV. There's just 6 of us.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Well, yeah,
nice.
I'm going to watch football as well. Yeah.
And
Can we all agree tomorrow's going to be a great day?
Great day. It's my favorite holiday.
so Thanksgiving is your number one.
Number one.
Mine too.
Really?
Yeah.
What's yours?
Christmas.
It's a number 2 for me.
Christmas, like I used to stay out in the living room and fall asleep because I was waiting for Santa.
Wow. I understand liking Christmas, but there's a little bit pressure now with the presents. When you get older, in some ways, like,
We are already getting texts right now
I know. We
about-
got a text from Tara.
about content from the first episode.
well,
So, hey, speaking of, we have to say it. We're going to bring it up. Tara, I love you. The mailbag that you said that you do not like any kind of pie or cheesecake. That is unacceptable. You get a 0. I love you.
yeah, I don't understand it. But
How can you not like any type of pie?
She's obviously not had your mom's.
Well, I'm gonna
Maybe
give
you
her.
have to
I'm
offer it
gonna. I'm
up.
gonna give her a piece.
She did say that she did like a chicken pot pie, I believe.
Oh, we're going to have leftover. So Kelsey does a turkey pot pie
Oh,
with curry in it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have made a chicken pot pie with my mom's crust.
Wow.
She made the crust, and I did the filling.
I'll say it for swap.
It's absolutely mind blowing.
I'll be damned. That's amazing.
I'm gonna give you guys some.
Perfect.
Cannot wait. Well, we hope that all of you listeners have a great Thanksgiving break. Happy holidays. Remember, all of our podcasts can be listened to on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere else that you find your podcasts. In addition, if you have questions, comments, or suggestions or corrections, you can email those to the View from the Rock podcast. Ooh, messed that one up. theviewfromtherock@gmail.com. Whew, that was close. Thank you to all our listeners out there. We appreciate you. See you soon.
We nailed it.